Guys, it's been a very confusing day in the Destiny community. Speculation is running rampant surrounding a supposed community event. Telesto's been acting really funky, emblems have been getting posted, but instead of just compiling a bunch of rumors, we believe we should take a step back and look at all the facts to figure out what the hell is actually going on. So starting with what happened today, at reset, Hotfix 6.2.5.3 rolled out, which brought some minor bug fixes, as well as some sandbox changes to the game. Now we actually covered that this morning. Essentially the biggest change was the Flinch nerf to linear fusion rifles in PvP, Lawrence Driver Arbalest being dealt with. It actually got a buff in PvE, so for my PvE players, don't be too distraught. But yeah, inside of PvP, the flinch is heavy. Granted, there's also a flinch cap, which actually aids fusion rifles and landing crit shots. Feel free to check out our breakdown video of all of that. But with that hotfix, we were also hoping to see a new community quest. Now this is something that's been rumored for quite some time. There's a list of community goals though that are actually in the API, which mentions multiple features in the elixir quarter that we are going to actually contribute to by earning Captain's Coins, which is supposed to be an exclusive currency which drops from many in-game activities. Needless to say, we're all pretty hyped to actually contribute to this event, and there's actually lots of upgrades we're going to have to do to get that elixir quarter up to snuff. Now, what we actually discovered after the hotfix was something we didn't expect, although we probably should expect it. Telesto was altered. Now, I know most of us are like, Cross, Telesto's always being buggy. It literally breaks the game all the time. And you're right. However, this one was different. Many people thought it was just a bug, but upon further inspection, it turns out this was intentional. The gun actually had new animations with sparks and smoke, along with an entirely new firing mode that causes the bolts to travel through the air, slowly ascending over time. Now, this is actually the default firing mode of Telesto, and you actually hold down your reload button to convert Telesto back to its normal firing fusion rifle self. Now, the biggest question surrounding this is why? Why was Telesto altered? Now, here are some of the facts. First, we don't really know how much Paul Tassi knows about this event or Telesto bug. He was the one that actually came out and said today that the community event was not scrapped and that his sources were saying it's still go. Granted, maybe that doesn't mean this week, maybe it's next or the week after, or even the final week leading into the new season. We also don't know if the Telesto bug and this community quest are even related, but it is being speculated that somehow this altered Telesto is the first step to initiating the community quest. So much so that people were even saying that we had constellations that were being shot out of Telesto if you actually watch the crystals travel. We even went to the firing range down below the weapon crafting table and shot in the air. And if you notice the crazy patterns that seem to be popping up with every single shot. And what's curious about this is that you can actually speculate that these bolts form some sort of constellation pattern. And we were shooting over and over again trying to get repeats, but there's so many different constellations that obviously we couldn't even arrive at what was random and what was intentional, despite these crystals actually looking like they're traveling in a very intentional manner. Now, that wasn't the only thing that everyone was doing. People were also taking note of the blinking lights on the gun that could possibly encode a message. And there were a number of people taking the gun all over the solar system just to see if it would trigger anything in different locations in the game. Again, so far, nothing has brought about results. Now, we actually tested out Telesto here. I was actually curious, did this new altered mode actually do more damage? Turns out, no, it doesn't do more damage in PvE or in PvP. Matter of fact, arguably it's worse in both of those game modes. Outside of watching the cool crystals ascend, there really is no use for this altered mode. And if the gun was actually broken, why do we even have a smoke and spark feature on the weapon? That's something Bungie had to add. This isn't real life. Telesto didn't just break and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm broken. I must smoke to indicate I am broken. No, a developer had to actually put that in the game. And what's leading us to believe this is actually intentional is that there's an emblem in the game called Schrodinger's gun. And I know I'm not saying that right. Schrodinger. And we have no idea how to acquire it. And as far as we know, no one has it, despite people actually saying they have it. Everybody be trolling and photoshopping. But Telesto is actually featured on the emblem. So we're speculating that this is actually going to be a reward for solving this puzzle, if there even is one. Now, while this is all very strange, it's not insane to believe Bungie would make a mystery surrounding Telesto or just mysteries in general. They literally added Telesto to Bungie's vendor screen this year. They also added whole merchandise packs in the EverVerse store this season that has a ship, Ghost, and Sparrow. There's even a t-shirt that's tied to the Bungie website related to Telesto. And Fest of the Lost had a Telesto mask and emotes where while bobbing for apples, you could pull out Telesto. So you tell me, guys, am I crazy? Am I crazy for shooting Telesto literally thousands of times today, taking screenshots of constellations, wondering if this means anything? Well, maybe I am, but there's too many things that are connecting All I know is that we have a community event, and Telesto is being kind of funky. Do those things coincide, or is it just a coincidence? Which brings us to our speculation. The mystery could actually just be time-gated, which would be extremely annoying. But it is possible as time goes on, we're actually going to get more clues. Or the Telesto bug could actually become worse. Maybe it starts to smoke just a little bit here, but then next week, it's literally on fire. However, the other speculation is that this is just one of the weapons that's going to be getting reworked next season in the batch of 27 exotics that are also getting reworked. Yes, guys, we're getting a huge overhaul in Sandbox for 27 different exotics. By the way, if you haven't checked out our video breaking down everything from the interview with Bungie devs in regards of what's to come, feel free to check that one out. Perhaps what we're seeing in the separate firing mode of Telesto is just what was going to be a feature for Telesto in Season 19. Maybe this was something that was actually slipped in the hotfix today in preparation for the next season, and somehow it's activated early. And considering the crazy shenanigans Telesto has pulled off in the past, I wouldn't be surprised. At the end of the day, guys, perhaps there is no puzzle at all. And maybe this is just a giant troll. Maybe I just look like a crazy person running around with my Telesto looking for answers. But I will say this, DMG and Hippie even stopped by our stream earlier, observing what we've discovered, which makes me think there's got to be something out there for us to find. Guys, it's been quite some time since we've had a community puzzle, and this is some of my favorite content in the game, and I wish Bungie would actually do it more. We used to have surprise missions. Think about the Whisper mission, just suddenly getting dropped on us out of nowhere, and the puzzles that was leading up to it. You know how much buzz and excitement this caused in the community? Think about Niobe Labs and how long people sat there trying to figure that thing out. We sat there for literally an entire day going through all kinds of things to unlock that for literally no other reason than it being a mystery or the corridors of time. If there was one thing that I wanted Bungie to take away from the day, was that we miss events like this. Don't get me wrong, community events are fun. Hell, even the live events were fun. Watching the almighty crash into Earth was pretty cool. I know it took like 4 hours or something for it to happen, but still, it was pretty cool. Community events, although can be pretty boring, as they don't really feel like a community event, but more like a checklist of things to do, they're nice, they're better than nothing, but what really captures us is those mystery events. That right there is what made us sit there all day today and shoot a Telesto in the sky over and over and over again. And even though I sat there and wondered to myself, Cross, are you just crazy? Are you just getting trolled right now? As possible as that reality probably is, I yearn to have one of those mystery events back in the game. We need it. Bungie, you have to do it. Does it fit into the seasonal model? Maybe not. Is it hard to market surprise mystery quests like Whisper missions? Maybe. But does it build goodwill and memories for years to come for your community? Absolutely. And it's something that we need back in the game desperately. So guys, if you have anything of note that you want to share with us in regards to the mysteries surrounding the community event and of course Telesto or anything else, feel free to come by our Discord. We have a general chat there. A lot of people sharing out information. I'm sure we'll even have an entire Discord room that's dedicated just to this. But in the least, if you're not actually out there searching for answers, just put on Telesto for the night, shoot it a few times, and see if you notice anything different. And maybe, just maybe, you might see something we didn't. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.